Joining me now is Defence Minister Anita Anand. Welcome, Minister. Thank you for being here. I wanted to say to you first here, in response to the Indo-Pacific strategy, a spokesperson from the Chinese Foreign Ministry said that China is gravely concerned and strongly opposes the so-called China threat that they say is laid out in your new strategy. Now, the spokesperson also warns against interference in domestic issues such as Taiwan, Xinjiang, and Hong Kong. What is your response to those comments?
Well, first and foremost, the Indo-Pacific strategy lays out Canada's approach as a Pacific nation to the Indo-Pacific region in a multitude of areas, including economic, trade, military, defense, security, immigration, diplomacy. So this is an across-the-board strategy, and it's not directed at one country in particular, but rather engages the region as a whole so that Canadian interests can be furthered in the fastest-growing region in the world. Having said that, in direct response to your question, we will challenge China where we need to, and we will cooperate with China when we must. We are concerned about increased Chinese military activity, especially in the area of Taiwan. And so we do need to have a structured and strong approach in the Indo-Pacific strategy, which is exactly what we're doing.
I'll get to the military aspect in just a moment, but in this strategy, our government says, quote, China's economy offers significant opportunities for Canadian exporters, but your government has also sent warnings to business community to account for a growing risk of arbitrary applications of Chinese laws. How do you reconcile these two things?
As I said, Mike, the Indo-Pacific is the fastest growing region of the world, and we know that China is an economic power. As a result, we need to make sure that we are engaging with economies around the world. We need to ensure we have those links for Canadian businesses and innovators. At the same time, we need to be eyes wide open on China, and that is the message that we will continue to deliver to Canadians and Canadian businesses as well.
Now, onto the military side of it, and there's an increased military presence in this strategy in the Indo-Pacific region with more military assets. What concretely does that look like, considering that yesterday on our CTV show Question Period, Chief of the Defense Staff, Wayne Eyre, said that it would be a challenge to launch another larger scale mission in the longer term. Do we have the resources to spare or not?
We do have the resources. At the same time, we are going to continue to build the Canadian military and reconstitute, retain, and recruit additional members of the Canadian Armed Forces. In terms of the Indo-Pacific strategy and the military components itself, we need to recognize that there are 4 pillars, the first of which is an additional naval deployment and an additional frigate that will be sent to the region. We already have 2 frigates there, and they participate in Operation Projection with our allies. They also sailed through the Taiwan Strait, and another frigate is going to enhance Canada's presence and ensure that we are continuing to contribute to peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific. In addition, we're going to undertake joint exercises with our allies and partners in the region. We're going to engage in additional military capacity building in the area of training, for example, and women, peace, and security. Very important for Canadian values and what we are trying to do in terms of building an inclusive military right here at home, in fact. And then the final pillar is in the area of cyber security and cyber capacity, and we'll be enhancing our presence in the region in that capacity with our allies. So it's a full-fledged approach in terms of defense and security, and as I said, we will make sure we're focused on reconstitution here at home while addressing the growing Indo-Pacific strategy on the other hand.
Despite you calling it a full-fledged approach, some observers would contend it's as much as we can manage right now, but still nothing compared to international partners and their presence in that region. How do you respond to that kind of criticism?
Well, what's really important, Mike, is we are a Pacific country, and we are taking an approach that enhances our presence militarily in the region. And when Shangri-La dialogue in June in Singapore, I heard from our partners and allies in the region that they want to see more of Canada. And so that's exactly what is happening under this strategy, not only in the area of military, but also in the area of immigration. We are strengthening the immigration efficiency by opening additional offices in Chandigarh, in New Delhi, for example. We are also enhancing our trade capacity in that area by enhancing trade missions, ensuring that we've got a trade office, gateway to the Indo-Pacific, for example, and making sure we have an agreement with India in the area of trade. So as I said, this is an across-the-board strategy, and we have to take it as its whole part to make sure that we are doing whatever we can in the Indo-Pacific, as a Pacific country, and in the region that is the fastest-growing region in the world.
Defence Minister Anita Anand, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for making the time today.
Thank you so much, Mike. Take care.